It is often said that there are 4 pillars of Catholic social teaching. The first of these is human dignity. The recent document published by the Vatican, Dignitas Infinita, explained the profound consequences that arise from the fact that we are all made in the image of God and are endowed with an inherent dignity. We all have a responsibility to protect and promote human rights, including the right to life, which are a consequence of our God-given dignity. The political authorities have particular responsibilities. In the first place, government promotes human dignity by protecting life, property, peace, civil order, the right to economic initiative, and by ensuring that all have access to basic economic goods and services such as food, clothing, shelter, education, and healthcare. Ensuring that all have basic goods does not mean, of course, that they should be provided by the government directly. Normally, people obtain access to goods and services through earnings from work, from family members, or in the case of health and education, often from the church or civil society institutions. Recognizing this, in turn, helps us understand our responsibilities to promote human dignity as employers, businesses, in civil society, and within our own families. We are also called to promote what the church calls the common good, and in doing so, promote social justice. It is often said by Catholics before elections that this should motivate how we vote. What is the common good? The common good is not just Catholic language for the general welfare or for thinking about the whole community rather than yourself. Specifically, according to the Catholic Church, the common good embraces the sum of those conditions of the social life whereby men, families, and associations more adequately and readily may attain their own perfection. The common good relates to what is both good and common. As with the promotion of human dignity, the common good cannot be achieved by the political authorities alone. And certainly it cannot be achieved by markets and economic activity alone, as there is so much more to life than material goods. In promoting the common good, the Catholic Church promotes the role of the family and social relationships as opposed to atomistic individualism, independent religious and civil society institutions and education, labour markets and healthcare as opposed to an overbearing state, the right to economic initiative as opposed to central control and planning of economic life, and charity and justice as opposed to greed and selfishness. In promoting this vision of society, government should serve the human person and society and not dominate them. Most particularly, those in government, whether politicians or administrators, should serve the interests of the common good and not their own personal interests. The third principle is that of solidarity, which is a virtue which involves acting upon a deep-seated concern for others. The preferential option for the poor is an aspect of the virtue of solidarity. The Church stresses that our bonds of solidarity go beyond national boundaries and require the bringing to fulfillment of a universal brotherhood. As Pope Francis has emphasized, solidarity should also transcend the generations. We cannot disregard the welfare of those who will come after us. This has implications, of course, for how we treat the natural environment. Solidarity demands action at every level in society. It is as Pope John Paul II wrote, not a feeling of vague compassion or shallow distress, it is a firm and persevering determination to commit oneself to the common good. That is to say, to the good of all and of each individual, because we are all really responsible for all. As with the common good, it is an error which impoverishes society to assume that expressions of solidarity are only, or indeed mainly, the responsibility of the state. Solidarity in all its richness, together with genuine fraternity and socialization, needs to be intermediated by a much wider range of institutions than by the state alone, the function and the modus operandi of which is quite specific. Pope Benedict XVI wrote, "Solidarity is first and foremost a sense of responsibility on the part of everyone with regard to everyone, and it cannot therefore be merely delegated to the state." And he explained in an earlier encyclical how the state, which would provide everything, absorbing everything into itself, would ultimately become a mere bureaucracy incapable of guaranteeing the very thing which the suffering person, every person, needs, namely loving personal concern. And so we have the complementary principle of subsidiarity, which explains how the state should help individuals, families, the community, and civil associations achieve their legitimate objectives and not take responsibility from them. Pope Francis has shown through his personal example working amongst prisoners the homeless and migrants, and explained in his teaching how the virtue of solidarity can be lived out in all that we do, through every institution, from the family to the state.